Howdy y'all, Sword Trader. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in black, continuing my never-ending quest to build the world's biggest Empire army. Now today, we're going to have some oldies and some goodies in this video, because we're going to paint some of the old swordsmen. I believe these are about the late 6th edition guys, so I'm going to do a little more research in the video and a little bit more about them as we paint them. So, let's take a look at what we got, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's the models. Now, these kits are a bit older, and unless you live on eBay, we've been playing in the hobby for over 20 years, you've probably never seen them before. Now, we'll do some history on these in a minute, and I'll show you the backstory, but I want to show you what we're working with first. I have 31 of the old Empire State troops. The reason that's such an odd number is I need a commander too, which I'll pick from in a second. But right now, I have 29 sword and board. We have one drummer, one bannerman. So let's take a look at these guys first, and then we'll toss them in the alcohol and start stripping the paint. So here's a picture of the box set these models would have came in. This box set dates back to January of 1998. Around this time, GW released a whole bunch of multi-part plastic minis for Warhammer Fantasy, and this one, Soldiers of the Empire, the Regiment box set, was one of them. This was the close combat troop one with sword and shield and halberdiers. It came with 16 minis in the box, and it came with the following bits. So here you can see a breakdown of what came in the box set. So you would have had one sprue of shields, you would have had another sprue with the chest and the different arm components, one for the halberd and then one for sword and shield. And you've had one more sprue for all the different legs and other bits you could have on there. And then they had the banner pole, and they had a couple of other things in there to round out the command squad. So for those of you who have seen them, we want to get a close-up shot. These are actually an old multi-part kit. Legs, arms, weapons, head, all separate. Originally when you've got these, there should have been a feather, and most of these guys' is caps right here. When I got them off eBay, sadly, the feather has been cut, as you can kind of see. So that's a bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world. They're actually kind of decently painted, but while they almost match my paint scheme, they're not close enough, and they're the wrong base size. So let's take a look at how we're going to clean them. So all we did here was take them and put them in a container with some 91% isopropyl alcohol. Okay, so it's supposed to be 24 hours. It ended up being close to the probably 60 hours they spent in the alcohol, so they're nice and ripe. Let's take a look. Yeah, you can definitely see the tint of the alcohol is red, so meaning that all of that red paint has soaked in there, which is good. So let's take a look at the flag. Okay, you can even see some paint coming off. I don't know if you can see it, but he's a little puffy. Like, the paint looks puffy. His arm's coming off, and let's just... Yeah, like, oh, and I broke his arm. And I broke the whole thing, great. Okay, we'll fix that later in post, but... Yeah, I can use my finger and take the paint off. So let's take a model, a regular trooper. Rub the shield, in the back. Yeah, you can see the gray. They're good to start scraping. So, let's get to it. After we let them soak, we took the old toothbrush here, and we just slowly scrubbed them, piece by piece. The only issue with these is that they were not put together the best, or maybe the alcohol dissolved whatever glue the previous owner had. We had all the arms pop off, some of the shields broke off the arms. Nothing that can't be fixed, but it did add a lot of extra work on the back end. So we just spent what ended up being half an hour, 45 minutes, slowly scrubbing them off. And now they're good to go. So while we give those the 24 hours or so they'll need to get all the paint to come off, we got to do a couple things. One, we got to show the history of these models off so you understand where he's coming from. But two, first of all, we have to pick our commander, a captain of our regiment. Now, I have a couple of these Empire of Man Captains box set that came out GW made a limited run of. So let's take a look and pick one. So there happens to be 4 in this box. I don't know the technical names of them. These are all the Empire Captains. But we have Hammer and Pistol, which looks cool, but I don't think it's really going to suit the needs of a bunch of guys with sword and board. We have the dude with the Great Mace, while again in full plate armor and rocking it and looking solid. Don't think he'll work. We have basically the Duelist model, the old Empire Duelist Captain. Again, looks epic, has a sword covered in blood, giant feather. Honestly, he's a contender. And this guy right here, big old bellowing angry captain, big sword, big shield, ready to rock and roll. Honestly, between the two of these, I think I'm gonna go with him. We'll go with him for now, and he will be the captain of our known Sword and Board Company. It's okay though, we will use him in the next Sword and Board Company. I need at least 2 Sword and Board. Okay, so while this may look like a pile of junk, a broken pile of junk, it is what remains of the swordsman after the bath. Ended up doing 2 baths actually. Has some issues getting all the paint off a couple of things, so we ran them through twice. They're not perfect. Whatever paint they use for this, some of it's just not coming off. So that's what happens with all models. So biggest issue we have is shields. Most of the shields broke off, which sounds bad, but not really. As you can kind of see with this guy, it's taking a little bit of his arm with him, but enough once you put it back together, no one's going to notice. We also popped off some of the sword arms, and we broke the banner a little bit. So yeah, this was a very violent, dangerous, and dirty expedition. But it's okay though, they're pretty clean. So now we have to rebase and put everyone back together. So we'll start with rebasing, and once we rebase, we'll reassemble, and we'll go from there. So to rebase them, all you have to do is basically cut off the base around the ankles. Now, this is also dangerous, because remember, those ankles are super thin, so if you're not paying attention, there's a good chance you snap the ankles, and you may have to make a guy with a peg leg. Or you have to do what I did and re-glue an ankle to a leg, and it's not fun. So just be careful if you ever have to rebase these models, or any type of old hammer model. Huzzah! They are done. Done as in rebased, which, by the way, that took way too long. Like, way too long. But I did it. It's done. Now we have to prime. The issue, though, is I live in a swamp, and it's been raining, and it's cold, so we have to wait a day or 2 until the weather is good. So give it 2 days. We'll prime, and then we'll get rocking and a rolling. So they are primed. I don't think you can tell from the video. That is not the best prime job in the world. I had to wait and wait and wait. And I had like 55-degree weather with a little bit of wind. It was not perfect. It was not great. But it was the best wind weather I was going to have for weeks. So we went and we YOLO'd it. So they are primed. They're good to go. Not perfect, but hopefully with a decent paint job, no one will notice. So, on that note, we're going to do the standard paint scheme we've done every other single miniature for the norm we've done before, and let's get this knocked out. So we're following the same standard we've done for the last couple Norn units. We did the red for the shirt on top, and we're using the Monument Hobbies Bold Pyrite Red. Nice red, good red, and that's what we're going to use for all the reds for them. So after finishing with the reds, we moved on to the metallics and then the blacks. So black for the pants and metallic for, as I'm pretty sure you all can guess, helmet, shield, and sword. So after that, we worked on the captain some, and then we started work on skin and gold. We did those back to back to get them knocked out as quickly as we can. Okay, that took way too long. Mostly because lack of motivation. But after, again, way too long, we finally got to about the halfway point. We are at the point where all the base colors are on, and now we have to do all enamel wash. So, what we do now is we'll slap on the Shrieking Grime and let it dry for about 24 hours. And then we'll go in there, pull some of the Shrieking Grime off, pick out some highlights, do the basing, and then call these 32 boys done. Whew, okay, let's get that going. So, now that we have everything laid out and painted, we do the wash. So we're using MIG's Shrieking Grime. 2 things to note. 1, shake well. You need to get those mixed pretty well. 2, whatever brush and water cup you use are now only for enamels. You cannot mix them. That brush is dead and is only for the enamel paint gods now. no longer can be used for acrylic. You will never get all the enamel out. After that, give everyone a decent wash. Give it 24 to 48 hours for everything to soak in and dry. So now we are at the painting part. All I'm doing is dry brushing. We take an extra small dry brush for the reds and we tap anything that has red on it. So same as the red, I take an extra small dry brush and I do a very bright silver, and I just highlight the edges of the helmet, side of the blades, corner of the shield, just enough to get it to pop. Okay, that took way too long, but now we got it. So everyone is painted, everyone's good to go. All that's left to do is apply the basing. Now we're going to use the Vallejo Diorama FX in the back. We'll slap on everyone's base, let it dry, paint on that a little bit, drop some grass effects, paint them in, and call these bad boys done. And this will be my first set of swordsmen for my known Empire army. So let's get that going. So basing is either the easiest to hardest and can be the most dangerous part, because you gotta put the basing material on there without getting it on the fully painted model, spread it evenly or nicely on the base, and do it again without messing anything up. So luckily I had no damage to them, but it made me a little nervous with these guys. So afterwards we then apply a wash to the texture paint. We're using known oil this time. Give it pretty liberally, spread it all around, let it soak in, because it will need to soak into this. So you're going to need to add a good chunk to it. Once that dries, and then we can get to painting the base. So after we get about 24 hours to dry, we then hit it with a white or a light gray around the base, so we can kind of get the pop. We were trying to go for like a snow theme, but I'm not doing a snow like a snow base. We kind of just want it lighter. I don't know if that makes sense out loud, but we just want it a bit lighter, so we hit that on the edges, and then they're good to go. And with that, everyone except El Capitan here is based. So we are going to finish putting the last of the grass tufts on him. Already did one little one in the back, and we'll do another little one up front. Bada bang, bada boom. He is done, they're done. Let's put everyone together and get a family photo. And there they are, the whole family. All 32 of my new swordsmen. These models were pain to paint, but also fun. A bit more detail than I would expect from such an old model. But still, I think they came out pretty good. They're not perfect, but nothing is ever perfect. But they are good enough for the tabletop. So, let's put some on a spinny wheel, get some close-in shots. I'll add them to the shelf, and I'll give you an update on what I've completed so far. So here they are close on the spinny wheel. They're not perfect by any means, and you can see that. But you know what? I'm proud of them. They're beautiful, and I'm glad to have them in my army. And you know what the old saying goes, it's good enough for government work. Well, good enough for YouTube now? I don't know. It's good enough. Okay, so here's the whole family. As of current, this is now my technical 6th unit I've added to my known army. We have the militia up here, the spearmen, the halberdiers, 3 sets of cannons, an engineer, and 1 line of riflemen in the back. That together is roughly 1,700 points, depending on how you want to add some stuff up. So, nearly 2 years worth of work in all these different units is still not even 2K. That's about, rough math, by the way, 3, 6, 9, 12... I don't know, almost 150 models. This is only the completed units. I do have, for clarification, another half dozen units or so that are done, halfway done, but they're not there. So, let's close this out, and we'll get on to the next one. Thank you, dear viewer, for making it all the way to the end of the episode. That was a bit of a long one, a bit of rambling. I'm trying to find, refine and do some new stuff, so I apologize. But as always, we have another Empire unit down on my quest to build the world's biggest empire and world's biggest guard armies. This is a slow go process. This will take a lifetime to complete. I do know this, so this is something I'm not in a rush to do. I know it's going to take me 20, 30 years to do. But on that note, thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you all on the flip side. Yee.